How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of Godzilla Minus One. We're going to go spoiler-free. Not too much to give away, but there's definitely some details in there that I feel like, you know, if you want to go into this movie cold, we're not gonna spoil anything.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Omar, tell us what you thought.
I'm not going to say I loved this movie, but I'm having trouble finding any flaws in this movie. That being said, there's so much of this movie to enjoy. I guess if you're grading it as a Godzilla movie, this is like incredible. This is probably the best Godzilla movie. It's the best Godzilla movie I've seen. I know there's like 1,000 of them, so I can't say it's the best Godzilla movie. But for me, this is like, it definitely did its job. Like I feel like it succeeded at telling a good story and being a good like monster Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I think my thing with monster movies is there's always this question of like, who exactly am I rooting for, the monster, the people, and like sometimes the people are just kind of an afterthought. And I think one of the things I really appreciated about this movie is this is very much a story about the people first and foremost. Like that's the heart and soul of the movie, which is what it should be.
I get you're definitely trying to make the point that it's about the people, but you asked that question, I'm thinking to myself, yes, you're supposed to root for the people for sure, and you do root for the people. But man, if I didn't love seeing Godzilla just like be a force of nature, like this, I'll just say this: this is Godzilla how I always felt like I wanted to see him. I wanted a little bit more of him, but compared to like the 2014 Godzilla, I feel like we got a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm on board.
I think I really also appreciated the I guess some of the rawness of Godzilla. Like it wasn't, there's definitely, the effects are hit or miss, but I think the fact that it wasn't just like CGI throw up all over the screen, like
the effects are hit or miss if this is a $250 million budget movie, but this is a $15 million budget movie, and I know it's different work ethics and like they get a lot more done for $15 million.
For people besides you and me, they're not going to know that going into this movie. You're just watching a movie.
Sure, but like even, I guess, is anybody assuming that a Godzilla movie is going to be a huge budget other than like the US based Godzilla movies? Like
I don't know.
Has there been bigger Godzilla?
I again couldn't tell you. Don't know. I'm not.
Speaking of Godzilla being big, the full like scale of not just Godzilla, but like the way that this movie was shot was incredible. I feel like.
Yeah.
I was really expecting it to be kind of like more like close, like introspective like shots, and it was like no grand scale, like huge, epic, massive shots, and I really liked it.
Yeah, the movie doesn't shortchange the spectacle because of its budget.
Yeah,
I guess is where you're going with that.
I almost wonder like if this was the first Godzilla movie ever, if this would be like the biggest movie of all time. You know what I mean?
See, I don't know, because there is a lot of this that, because as I was watching it, and again, haven't seen every Godzilla movie, obviously, but I've seen a lot. I've seen several of them. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But this very much feels like it's referencing the heart of Godzilla as a reaction to post-war Japan, and this like is very much rooted in that. So if this was the first Godzilla movie ever, I don't know that it would have a lot of those like cultural touch points to go back to.
Also, it's. I was about to say it's not enough of a Godzilla movie to be the first Godzilla movie, but it kind of is. Like I feel like the balance of it being a Godzilla movie and being like just a I mean, is it a spoiler to say kind of like a love story a little bit? And it's not just a love story. There's much more. This is actually a very dark movie, much darker than I was anticipating it being.
Yeah.
Especially for like a PG-13 rating. Not that there's like crazy like stuff happening, but like it was. I found myself thinking like, man, this is so dark. At points I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch this very often. Like for like a monster movie that I felt like if this is great, I'm gonna throw it on all the time. This is great, but I don't know how often I'm gonna
it very much. Yeah, I mean our main character in this is a former World War II Japanese soldier who just comes back from
very recently former.
Just gets back from war. And so, like I said, where Godzilla in its creation was very much of this exploration of post-World War II Japan, in many ways this story personifies that rebuilding effort in the form of our protagonist. And so like with anything, he goes through the trauma of having survived war. And
that's all something war allegory for sure.
It's all there, and the movie doesn't shy away from it. And again, that's what helps
it doesn't
center
beat
this
you
movie.
In the head with it though, but it's perfect.
It centers this movie on we are telling a story about people first. And so it's very much all of the things that he struggles with are things that are
Like,
very real human struggles.
I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of like video diaries about how Godzilla probably wasn't even real, and this is all in his head, and it's all about war. It's all just PTSD from war. And you could probably rewatch the movie with that lens and be like, yeah,
I don't think you could.
I think you could. I think maybe some stuff might not make sense, but yeah.
Yeah,
I thought the acting was pretty good overall. It's hard to judge sometimes when you have the subtitles and like you don't know exactly what lines are being delivered and how they translate, but it translated well enough for me, I would say.
The emotion translated,
Yeah,
which is really what you want.
The emotion hits for sure.
Which is what you want out of a movie, especially when it's in a language you don't understand.
I feel like I really enjoyed all the characters. Like if I heard they were making a sequel to this with majority of the characters coming back, I'd be like, oh yeah, for sure. I would definitely be down for that.
It's one of those where I'm just like, I don't want them to go through this again.
Yeah. Godzilla again.
They deserve to like ride off into the sunset.
As far as Godzilla movies go, though, I felt like the way that the humans try to combat Godzilla was very. It's probably not unique because it's probably in every other Godzilla movie, but I thought it was really interesting how they went about it. It kind of reminded me of Prey in a sense, at least at first, because it felt like they were going at it like with like kind of like minimal technology in a way. Like they have kind of like at first. I mean, this isn't really they're going at him with like a small wooden boat, right? And that just that kind of tension of like, man, Godzilla, this like godlike entity versus like these people in a little wooden boat. Like that kind of brought me back to like everything I loved about Prey.
The movie that I was drawing a comparison to, and I promised that
Jaws.
Star Wars, the first one. This is purely accidental. I'm not wearing a Star Wars shirt because of it. But
let's hear it.
But we get like our ragtag group of heroes in a junkie ship, and then they make it back, and now there's this like larger resistance.
Are you saying the Millennium Falcon is a junkie ship? Take a ship. Take that crew neck off. Put a Kylo Ren hoodie on, why don't you?
But and then we meet up with like this larger resistance, and then it's and where they have this far-fetched plan that's essentially
isn't every movie just Star Wars?
Every movie is Star Wars. Yeah, like, you're right. You're right.
Shakespeare said there's like 7 ways to tell a story, and this is one of them.
That was just the parallels I was drawing, especially in some of the like briefing room scenes where I'm just like, this feels very Star Wars.
I wonder if that's why this Godzilla movie in particular, over like the thousands of Godzilla movies that are released all the time, is really hitting with U.S. audiences. Maybe because it is translating like kind of like a universal story that everybody can kind of just like. I don't know. I guess it translates well. I really enjoyed this though. Like, do you feel like this is something rewatchable for you that you'll watch a lot? Like,
yes, but I think I'll rewatch it when I want to watch it's not in the I'm just going to throw on a dumb monster flick and watch some buildings get destroyed. This is not that.
No, this is something where like if I ran into someone and they're like, oh yeah, I really like Godzilla, and they haven't seen this, I'd be like, oh my god, you have to see this.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
But I don't know if this is something like I might check out, like if this was like on TNT or something. Is cable still a thing? If this was just on cable one day, like I would catch, and like Godzilla was wrecking shop, I would catch out that I would check that scene out, for a little bit. But, like I don't know if I'm gonna throw this on all the time.
I don't think it's a movie that you can come in the middle of either. Like you kind of have to set out to watch
Not
it.
ever seeing it? No.
Yeah,
for sure, no. Because then it's like, cause you need to feel the emotion.
You
behind
need to go
what's
through
going
the
on,
character progression, which again is to me is plus one for sure.
This did have a low budget. What did you think of the effects?
Like I said, I thought generally they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked the character design and how it really reminded me of like the old school black and white Godzillas that I've seen before. So
the design was great. I felt like he looked scary. Like Godzilla himself, if we're talking about creature design, perfect. Like his eyes were crazy. Like, and every time they showed his eyes, I was like, man.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Let's see.
You got anything bad to say about this?
I felt like the transitions from scene to scene could have been done better, but I also said that about Oppenheimer. I felt like there was a lot, but there's a lot of scenes in Oppenheimer too, where it's like, it'll just cut when anytime a scene just cuts and the next scene starts. I'm like, you need purpose for that. I don't know. Like there weren't enough. There were some well done transitions in this movie, but like, I don't know. I would say 5 out of 10 of them were really abrupt, and I felt like it kind of cuts the pacing of this movie. And not that this movie is not well paced, but like it would have been much better paced had the transitions from scene to scene been done a little neater. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Was it not noticeable for you?
No, it was, especially some of the scenes that were in there for exposition purposes, where it's just like cut, exposition, cut, and we're back. And it was just like, wait, what? Huh?
Like no time to breathe for certain moments. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I hear you. For me, I think my biggest gripe is just with a couple of the twists toward the end, which I'm not going to say, but
yeah, we talked about this off camera.
Yeah.
I will say this though, you didn't like that. I did. So go into it knowing that it's I think it's a little divisive. I guess I could see people rolling their eyes at the little twist that happens at the end, but I don't think it's damning. I actually really enjoy that the movie ends that way. I think it kind of needs it.
Sure. I'm not going to say anything more about it
because it's a twist.
We are right on the line of spoiler territory.
Sure. You know what? Let's just talk about the whole thing. So
all right. You got anything else? You ready to score?
Speaking of score, the score of the movie was pretty nice.
I forgot how much I enjoyed the Godzilla theme.
Okay,
like
so
every time
that was like the original Godzilla theme.
Yeah.
Have they used that in like the US versions of it too?
Again, not the biggest Godzilla historian here.
I didn't think I knew the Godzilla theme.
I think I know it more from hearing it in rap songs and being like, oh yeah, they sampled the Godzilla theme.
right, exactly.
Then I know it from.
I'm like, I didn't know I knew this, but I guess I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I forgot how much I liked it. I forgot how well it goes with Godzilla Wrecking Shop.
Godzilla's having a whole thing right now. There was just a trailer that released for the next Godzilla Kong movie, and then
which I'm not gonna
isn't there a show going on right now that people are loving, Monarch or something?
If you say so.
Listen, Godzilla's all over the place right now. I really like this. I would recommend it to anybody that wants to see a Godzilla movie, or if you were thinking about seeing this movie, I would definitely say go see this movie. I'm definitely ready to score it. I'm gonna say, definitely is a hard word. I'm gonna say 8 overall.
Okay.
Because it's hard to grade this up against something like Citizen Kane or Shawshank Redemption. This is a Godzilla movie. This is a monster movie. You know, it was fun. I'm sure all the fans are gonna be like, oh shit, what is he talking about? But I had fun. I feel like it told a real human story, told a good love story too, and a great Godzilla story too. It was thrilling. It was exciting, and it was shot really well. So yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm giving it an 8. I debated between an 8 and a 9 for a while, and eventually I'm just it's not quite there.
It could be a 9.
It could be. You could talk me into it very easily. But yeah, it's an 8. I enjoyed, like I said, I really loved the way it focused on characters. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the way it focused on characters. I really appreciated the progression we get. I thought the balance between showing us Godzilla and destruction and giving us the scratching that monster itch, you get that without making that the focus of the movie. So
the balance is the star of this movie.
The balance is really, really good. The pacing was really well. Lags in a couple spots, but I think overall moves fairly well. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Good movie. Go see it, guys.
Yep. All right. You want to take us out?
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys next week for some other movie we're going to review. Maybe Wonka. Maybe we'll see.
All right. We'll see you guys.